Skyrim probably doesn't need much of an introduction, but I'm gonna give it one anyway. After all, Bethesda's 2011 fantasy RPG was an instant classic at the time of release and dominated the gaming world for a long time. Hell, the game, also known as The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, was that year's hit title. As we all know, but we'll recap for the sake of posterity, as well as extending this video's length for the benefit of the almighty algorithm, may she live forever, Skyrim was something of a big deal. See, Skyrim is among the most successful games of all time, both in terms of its sales numbers and how it was enthusiastically received by players. As of 2023, which was the most recent accounting, Skyrim has sold over 60 million copies, which by measurement is quite a lot, and while the ludicrous amount of ports and remasters boosted that sales number, that count remains spectacular. It's quite the achievement. However, Skyrim's lasting cultural impact was even more impressive. Hell, players embraced this game immediately. For one thing, the memes were fruitful and long-lasting. There's the fact that people found the bugs and glitches endearing, and most importantly, the game was fun and built upon the then modernized approach to the Elder Scrolls franchise that was present in 2006's The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, which was the previous game in the series. Because yes, we can count. Polishing Oblivion's rough edges akin to how my enemies polish my little white ass, Bethesda utilized Oblivion as the blueprint for Skyrim's foundation. Oblivion, no relation, featured a living and breathing open world filled with various people, races, quests, morality systems, including theft and crime, and a real-time approach to combat, which was more action-driven and viscerally engaging than the more statistical and chance-based combat featured within Oblivion's predecessor in The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, that included not only melee combat, but also stealth and spells and shit. Oblivion did it all. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the game could also fuck me, although that's what the Horse Armor DLC was for. At that time, Oblivion was just a fresh turn for the series, and Skyrim expanded upon the gameplay features within Oblivion in impressive ways, with the title's fluid combat and progression system being the most notable. Well, aside from the fact that this game had fucking dragons, which auto-magically ensures Skyrim's superiority over Oblivion, because on a 5-star scale, Skyrim gets 20. So yeah, Skyrim is understandably beloved, had immense financial success, and became iconic in pop culture, meaning that we as a gaming audience believed that we would be playing The Elder Scrolls VI, i.e. a follow-up to Skyrim, sooner rather than later. As we all know, that did not fucking happen. See, despite Skyrim's immense success, Bethesda's attention lied elsewhere. Over the years, the studio released many titles like Fallout 4 in 2015, the live service Fallout 76 in 2018, and a new IP titled Starfield in 2023, which are all games with reputations that unfortunately lacked Skyrim's critical acclaim, or at the very least, its relevancy or staying power within the pop culture zeitgeist. In my opinion, Fallout 4 was solid but unspectacular, and while I never played Fallout 76 and still have yet to experience Starfield's consensus is that it's merely fine, and Fallout 76 launched to legendarily horrible reviews and word of mouth so bad that the title's nomer may as well have been Fallout 70 shits, or at the very least, Fallout 70 shits frames per second. In other words, Bethesda, or Beth, as I like to call them, released a banger of a game in 2011, one that essentially set the world on fire faster than climate change or the American collective's hot, sweaty balls. A type of title that Bethesda, for whatever reason, decided to forego much development on an anticipated Skyrim follow-up, instead prioritizing games of incomparable quality or cultural footprint. And while yes, Fallout is a major franchise, and Bethesda focusing on a new IP like Starfield is understandable from a creative standpoint, this doesn't change the consensus for those games, which were fine at best, and that there hasn't been a new mainline Elder Scrolls game released since 2011, because Skyrim launched over 14 years ago. Yet despite how much time has passed, we still only have a vague timetable as to when the long-in-development sequel will be released, which is absurd. The gaming world is just due for a new mainline Elder Scrolls game. game. If anything, it's ridiculous that there has been such a long gap between installments. And while sure, Skyrim received numerous updates and DLC expansions over the years, and ZeniMax Online Studios released the respectable The Elder Scrolls Online back in 2014, the gaming world remains long overdue for a 6th Elder Scrolls title. It's been time. And to put this in perspective, you know how there's a meme about the long development time for Grand Theft Auto 6, the upcoming sequel to the most financially successful entertainment property of all time? Well, at least developer Rockstar Games has good excuses for this. Grand Theft Auto 5 released in 2013, GTA 5 boasts a major popular online component, and Rockstar developed and released the critically lauded and financially successful Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018, meaning that Rockstar Games was as productive as a horny rabbit on Viagra, with the bountiful fruits of his labor to match. And to add insult to injury, GTA 6 has a set early 2026 release date, if it stays that way, whereas the Elder Scrolls 6's release date remains a mystery. Because when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 6, we will have waited 13 years between Grand Theft Auto installments, all while we have also waited on the Elder Scrolls 6 for 15 years and counting. Or to put it another way, we may possibly be playing GTA 6 before seeing meaningful gameplay for the Elder Scrolls 6. And look, I'm aware that this section of the video might make me look like an entitled gamer. After all, I am critiquing Bethesda for focusing on creative pursuits rather than what I personally want. But let me make this clear. I'm criticizing the pop cultural impact of Bethesda's latest output more so than anything else. Because if Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Starfield were as beloved as Bethesda's prior game-changing titles like Oblivion, Fallout 3, and Skyrim, the studio foregoing a Skyrim sequel for many years would have been easier to digest. But that isn't what happened. Bethesda simultaneously released non-essential material, all while neglecting the mainline Elder Scrolls series, and doing so to the point that the absence of Skyrim's successor was felt. Sure, Bethesda released a basic announcement trailer for The Elder Scrolls 6 back in 2018, but that showed no actual gameplay or cinematics. It just featured digital landscape shots accompanied by Elder Scrolls music and a logo. And seeing that there have been no trailers or meaningful updates since that little announcement teaser, Bethesda doesn't really have a lot of work to show in regards to the development of The Elder Scrolls 6 right now. And sure, the title might finally be the studio's primary focus of development now, but that doesn't alter the fact that Bethesda spent many years doing fuck all on the project aside from having the concepts of a plan. And look, that's bullshit. Like, you're gonna announce The Elder Scrolls 6 and just barely touch that project for several years? I mean, what the fuck, man? So yeah, seeing as it's 2025 and The Elder Scrolls 6 remains missing in action, the industry is just dealing with a Skyrim-sized void, and a void requiring fulfillment at that, which admittedly I can relate. I'm a void requiring fulfillment as well. In other words, we should have had an Elder Scrolls 6 by now, and the fact that we haven't is a huge blunder on Bethesda's part. It's a critical mistake.